Good day everyone, my name is Rodaisa B. Ramos. My topic is about the unified process. When we say unified process, it's a specific methodology that maps out when how to use the various Unified Modeling Language or UML techniques for object-oriented analysis and design. Whereas the UML provides structural support for developing the structure and behavior of an information system. The unified process provides the behavior support. Furthermore, the unified process is a two-dimensional system development process described by a set of phases and workflow. The phases are the following: inception, elaboration, instructions, and transition. The workflows includes business modeling, requirements, analysis, design, implementation, test, development, configuration and change management, project management, and environment. One of the dimensional system is the phases. The phases of the unified process support an analyst in developing information systems in an iterative and incremental manner. This also describe how an information system evolves through time. As a system evolves through the phases, it improves and becomes more complete. Each phase has objectives, a focus of activity over the workflows, and incremental deliverables. Each of the phases is described next. In many ways, the inception phase is very similar to the planning phase of a traditional CDLC approach, or software development life cycle is a structured process that enables the production of high quality. It includes the feasibility analysis that should answer the questions. To answer these questions, a development team performs work related primarily to the business modeling requirements and analysis workflows. The primary deliverables from the inception phase are a vision document that sets the scope of the project, identifies the primary requirements and constraints, sets up an initial project plan, and describes the feasibility and risks associated with the project. The adoption of the necessary environment to develop the system and some aspect of the problem domain class is being implemented and tested. Number 2 is the elaboration. When we typically think about object-oriented system analysis and design, the activities related to the elaboration phase of the unified process are more relevant. The analysis and design workflows are the primary focus during this phase. The elaboration phase continues with developing the vision document, including finalizing the business case, revising the risk assessment, and completing the project plan in sufficient detail to allow the stakeholders to be able to agree with constructing the actual final system. Second dimensional system in the unified process is the workflows. Workflows describe the tasks or activities that a developer performs to evolve an information system over time. The unified process of workflows are grouped into two broad categories: the engineering and supporting. Engineering workflows includes business modeling requirements analysis, design implementation, tests, and deployment workflows. The workflows deal with the activities that produce the technical product, that is, the information system. Business modeling workflow. The business modeling workflow uncovers problems and identifies potential projects within a user organization. This workflow aids management in understanding the scope of the projects that can improve the efficiency and effectiveness of a user organization. The primary purpose of business modeling is to ensure that both developer and user organizations understand where and how the to-be-developed information system fits into the business process of the user organization. The requirements workflow. In the unified process, the requirement workflow includes eliciting both functional and non-functional requirements. Requirements are gathered from project stakeholders such as end users, managers within the end user organization, and even customers. The requirements workflow is used the most during the inception and elaboration phases. The analysis workflow primarily addresses the creation of an analysis model of the problem domain. In the unified process, the analyst begins designing the architecture associated with the problem domain. Using the UML, the analyst creates a structural. The primary purpose of the analysis workflow is to ensure that both the developer and the user organizations understand the underlying problem and its domain without over-analyzing. The design workflow. It is the transition of the analysis model into a form that can be used to implement the system. That is the design model. Whereas the analysis workflow concentrated on the understanding the problem domain. Basically, the design workflow simply enhances the description of the evolving system by adding classes that address the environment of the system to the evolving analysis model. Next is the implementation workflow. The primary purpose of the implementation workflow is to create an executable solution based on the design model. This includes not only writing new classes but also incorporating reusable classes from executable class libraries into the evolving solution. Is also associated primarily with the elaboration and the construction phases. The testing workflow. The primary purpose of the testing workflow is to increase the quality of the evolving system. whereas implementation testing is performed primarily during the construction and to some degree transition phases. Basically, at the end of each iteration during the development of the information system, some type of test should be performed. Deployment workflow. Deployment workflow is most associated with the transition phase of the unified process. The deployment workflow includes activities such as software packaging, distribution, installation, and beta testing. Supporting workflows. It includes the project management, configuration and change management, and environment workflows. The supporting workflows focus on the managerial aspects of information system development. Project management workflow. Whereas the other workflows associated with unified process are technically active during all 4 phases. This project management workflow is the only truly cross-phase workflow. The development process supports incremental and iterative development, so information systems tend to grow or evolve over time. Project management workflow is quite important owing to the complexity of the two-dimensional development model of the unified process, the workflows and the phases. Next is the configuration and change management workflows. The primary purpose of the configuration and change management workflow is to keep track of the state of the evolving system. The configuration and change management workflow is associated mostly with the construction and transition phases. Evolving information system comprises a set of artifacts like diagrams, source code, and executables. The last workflow is the environment workflow. It addresses the information system via the UML could be required. The environment workflow involves acquiring and installing these tools. Even though this workflow can be active during all the phases of the unified process, it should be involved primarily with the inception phase. That's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.